So, Sweet Home Augusta. Um, is it really though? Like, I'm feeling like Sutton would beg to differ at this point. And PK, sir, like, what is really going on? Like, well, what's happening? Like, let us know for real, for real. Like, what's up? Anyways, y'all, what's going on? It's your girl Taina B here, and welcome to my chat party. I'm so glad that you can join me to hear my little thoughts, my little views and opinions, not facts on, well, sometimes facts, but for the most part, just my opinion on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. At this point, we're at season 14, episode number 10. For those of you who will show up to my party for a little bit, a lot of bit, show up fashionably late, fashionably early, whatever it may be, I thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do so. For those of you who will consider subscribing and joining my guest party list, I thank you in advance. For y'all who always show me the continuous love, you already know what it is from the bottom of my heart. Let's keep it going. So let's go ahead and hop into this, right? We start off the episode with this montage of moments between Dorit and PK, which go from the incredibly lovely and wonderful all the way to where we're at now, which is the bad. Now we have Kathy at her home. She's inviting Bose, Dorit, and Erica over for dinner at her house, just extending an invitation to them. We then pan over to Garcelle, who's at Sutton's home, and Sutton has called her over apparently as support to ask if she would accompany her to Augusta, Georgia to visit with Sutton's mom. Again, we know this is Sutton's hometown. Apparently, she's had a rough relationship with her mother, not feeling like she's ever been good enough as a daughter. And I'm sure there's a lot of women out there who can relate with that. I'm actually one of those, but I'll say that for a different day, different time and place. And so they also end up calling Kyle and ask her to come along as well. Kyle agrees. We now have Bose who visits Dorit at her house, and they're just talking, and Dorit is referencing Sutton's abruptness. I'm getting tongue tied. Abruptness. The day of Garcelle's beach house gathering, as well as how PK has been short with her, as we already know, because he appears to be extremely over. He's been giving over. He gave us over it when we first saw them link up, like in one of the earlier episodes. And he's pretty much been on that type of time, and it seems to be getting progressively worse. So Bose and her honey, now we have, are at dinner, and that gold dress that Bose had on, definitely chef kiss. It just looked radiant against her chocolate kiss skin, just a really good color for her. And so they briefly talk marriage, babies, the future. He pretty much dotes over her as he should, and it seems like they're on one accord and in a happy place. We now get to, and I'm really trying to get past some of these just quick little scenes to more of the meat and potatoes. So we have Kyle and Mauricio. They meet at a gun range. Kyle expresses how things feel different in her home now, and she gets emotional. And I can appreciate, Mauricio then showing her some love and consoling her and hugging her and kind of kissing on her. And, we know that, as they say, love doesn't go away overnight, right? And it's like, I'm sure, or maybe I question that the love hasn't gone away for PK with Dorit. But at the same time, if this were the same situation happening right now, I think PK would be standing there looking at like, Dorit, you a fool. Like, I wish I would. And maybe he would hug her. Let me not say that. But I feel like he really would be looking at her sideways, like, okay, girl, you'll be all right. Brush it off. Brush the dirt off your shoulders and let's go. Okay. I don't know if he would be as quick to show the love that Mauricio is showing. So, anyway, she says it's a big adjustment after living a certain way for decades. And that makes sense. They were together for an extremely long time. And I'm sure that neither one of them, especially Kyle, thought that she would be at this place and space in this day and time with her marriage. And you got to figure, you're so accustomed to something for so long and then it's gone. Now, I know we can consider the fact that they've had problems for a little while now. And we know at times she was kind of brushing things under the rugs, when the ladies would ask, but still, nonetheless, like, now it's become a real thing. Now it's official, and it's a whole different vibe and feeling when something is so official like that. And, at the snap, it feels like it's just you in this big old house. So she shares that she walks around most of her days hiding what a struggle it really is, which just goes back to my point that I've been saying it's not a matter of me going up for Kyle. I just feel like I see it for what it is. I don't think she's been playing victim in the prior episodes. And yeah, she might have been put out there about not being honest with some things, but this, I don't think that she's being untruthful about. She's been hit hard, she's going through it, and it's showing. I know she's doing her best to keep it under wraps, but sometimes it rears its head. And I think we've seen that. And so Sutton, Garcelle, and Kyle, they finally touch down in Augusta. They pull up to Sutton's home there, which is super dope. I'm like, that's that money talking. Of course, Sutton would have another home, couple of homes, other places. And I don't know if she's ever mentioned before in past seasons that she has multiple homes. I'm sure she has, and I just don't remember or missed it. But I'm like, yeah, of course. And this house is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful, truly giving Southern charm. And so now we have Reba. Sutton's mother, who arrives with her friend, in quotes, Jim. Now I said, why in the world is production putting her friend in quotes? Like, y'all need to stop, okay? I know it wasn't the biggest deal, but apparently that's her man, okay? As I'm gonna call it. So Reba hugs Sutton, her daughter, just like she hugged Garcelle, which was like she didn't know her very well and was almost a stranger. And I get, everybody's not affectionate, right? And we pretty much can deduce that from what Sutton shares later about her mom and lack of emotions and all this other stuff. But I'm like, God, dog. I mean, come on, still hug her a little tighter. Anyways, I'm mad though that Kyle was pretty to Reba. But Reba didn't say a word about Garcelle. I heard Garcelle over on the side like, she didn't say I was pretty. And we can all see that Garcelle gives beauty, right? Garcelle is beauty. And she's also the epitome, in my humble opinion, of class, So that exudes, that radiates off of you, especially too, like they say, whatever you are on the inside is what seeps on the outside. And we know genuinely Garcelle is just a beautiful spirit and soul, and it comes out on the outside. So how do you miss that? And then when she smiles, she's bright, So I'm just like, Reba. Garcelle, as a very kind gesture, presents Reba with a gift. Okay. Now, I don't want to talk about nobody's mama. Okay. But, and Sutton did give us a disclaimer, right? So we kind of knew what it was before we got there, that her mother was a piece of work. But, the discourteous, ungrateful response in which her mother gave when she opened the gift that Garcelle gave her and discovered it was a scarf was very distasteful. Okay. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna keep it that simple, that cute, was just distaste. I mean, she's sitting there almost like, Garcelle, what is this? And why did you give it to me? Like, girl, I would have been like, ma'am, listen, give it back, give it here. Don't even worry about it. Okay. I'll go back, get a refund, maybe keep it to myself, dress it up, whatever. So Reba apparently lives out back. So they head out that way. Apparently, that would be a little too close for me with Reba's personality, but hey, whatever works. And now, Reba, I'm going to say this. Okay. When you stepped outside and I peeped your whole outfit, while you over here acting so just blasé about the scarf. I peeped your outfit head to toe. They showed you, okay. And I mean, I know you're older, so the fashion sense hits different, right? You get to a certain age, you don't care about all of that. But I'm gonna just say politely, you should have actually adored and fell in love with that scarf when you saw it. Okay, the scarf, the same one that Garcelle gave you. Okay, you should have. That probably would have changed your whole style game. But anyways, Reba's out here. She's hurling insults. And I'm sure a big portion of it has to do with the fact that she's older and set in her ways. But she calls Sutton's son weird. Then agrees Garcelle's son is weird as well when Garcelle kind of threw that out there. She was like, yeah, I know. I saw. And I'm like, girl, go sit in your chair somewhere and behave. You're giving too much already. It's your personality. But girl, no one's ever told you about yourself. So, across country, Kathy's home is being set up with a Capri theme. We've seen in the past that Kathy knows how to throw a classy party, right? And do y'all remember when she had that butler? I don't remember his name, but I know that I liked him. Dude was low key all up here for the craps with the girls. It must have been, was it that dinner party, that infamous dinner party? Was that at Kyle's house or Kathy's house? Either way, I know the ladies got into it in some shape or form at Kathy's house because I remember that butler being all up in the kitchen, spilling the tea, like the ladies out there arguing to this, that, the third. I was like, oh my gosh, I like him. Anyways, so Dorit asked Erica why she wasn't invited on Sutton's trip when Erica's also from the South. So simultaneously, across the country again, Garcelle is telling Sutton how she shared prior with Erica the fact that she was accompanying her to Augusta, and Erica was saying that is something Sutton should have shared with the sisterhood. And of course, Erica was being sarcastic, but making a valid point at the same time because it's like, Sutton, at this point, I'm going to briefly call you out. Okay. Now, this is definitely an instance where we got the pot calling the kettle. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. When Kyle stormed out and didn't want to talk about her personal situation anymore at Bose's house, you said she was acting like she was above the group and you pretty much weren't pleased with her behavior, right? You felt like she should have stayed and disclosed more, had the conversation. Also, at the beginning of the season, I remember you being the main one on that little bus when y'all were traveling somewhere or another, and you bringing up the point to the ladies how you didn't like when I think it was Erica and Kyle had like a kind of secretive moment one of the nights prior at dinner. I know it had to do with the whole Teddy situation and Dorita, are you friends with Teddy or not? And y'all didn't like that, or you didn't like that Erica and Kyle were having this little sidebar conversation because you felt like it should have been presented to the group, right? What are the secrets about? Meanwhile, though you may not have stormed out or had a storm out moment, in this instance, you still decided not to share your personals with the other ladies about this trip you were taking. So, does that mean you're acting like you're above the group too then? Okay. Listen, let's whatever we put out, let's make sure that we're giving that example out as well and we're doing the same. Okay? Let's walk it like we talk it. Forget your explanation in this moment. Even though you're saying this trip was very emotional for you, well, Kyle's life right now and why she stormed off before was emotional for her. So surely you can relate. Needless to say, Sutton had me confused with that, y'all. I kind of was like, that doesn't. All right, girl, what are we saying here? You really can't be talking right now, and now you want to move that way, and that has to be okay. And yeah, I get that her reason to a little earlier was that Kyle and Garcelle could relate because their moms are no longer there, but I still didn't know that I fully understood the whole connection because you still could have had the support of your friends. No, the bottom line is you just wanted to invite Garcelle and Kyle, period, and that's it. You're feeling them more. It is what it is. You probably asked Jennifer Tilly low key and she has something to do, but yeah. So she gets into the makeup of her mother again and how her mom is tough and really just doesn't have feelings. And I feel like that behavior was a commonality amongst quite a few women of that generation. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, because I feel like I know some woman around Reba's age range, give or take, that came up the same way with the same type of personality, and just presented this to their kids, specifically too, with the mother daughter situation, right? Because they're of the same sex and, all these things. And then you run into deeper issues sometimes with mothers being jealous of their daughters, all types of stuff. But it's like, what was that about? Where did all of that stem from? And I guess it's good to do generational homework, but it's like, geez, like in some instances, I feel like I've known sweet women to breed women who were a trip, but it could be the father who was a factor. So it's a whole lot to go into it. But the bottom line is that's so unhealthy to me. But the real kicker came when Garcelle said she could see some of Reba's ways within Sutton. Now, who on earth wants to be compared to their parent in a negative way when they're not even feeling their parents' ways? So I know you could tell in Sutton's face, and she was like, what? I'm glad she didn't have a volatile moment. She kept it together, but you definitely know that hit on the inside. It certainly would have hit me on the inside. And Garcelle says that they're both tough. And then production hits us with one of my favorite housewife moments, which I've already referenced. in a couple of my prior videos of all time when they roll back Sutton hitting Kyle with the name him, name him, name him. I wish they would have showed that pause when she again was like, name him. So I love that. Now, that flashback of Sutton's mom giving ice cold queen when Sutton was bearing her soul and crying to her in her store, that was something. That was definitely hard to watch. And I was like, sheesh. I mean, Reba definitely was giving hashtag unbothered. I don't give a damn, even if it is my daughter, period. Who cares? Question mark. That was just like, man, like you, even if you didn't want to console your daughter physically, like you couldn't console her with some positive words, like even just fake it in that moment, I guess. Not that anybody wants fake love, but geez, I guess at this point, that might have been better than the nothing that she gave or the nonchalant that she gave because, Sutton could at least ran with it and felt a little better in her mind. And it's like clearly Sutton was looking for the recognition like most children do when they feel like they're making their parent proud. And she didn't get that. And apparently she hasn't gotten that, which is a big void and very difficult. And this is an obvious instance of one of those cases where things you go through childhood will definitely show up again in some form of fashion in your adult life and affect you. And, even just again, going back to that, kids want that kind of love where after your parents saturate you with praise, you're so elevated, you're on such a high, you're so happy and so excited that you skip away from them. You know what I'm saying? Or you do some type of happy dance. And that's just so sad, when you don't get that. Because I feel like parents are responsible for providing that type of love and support. And you should want to do it organically, right? But I guess that's in a perfect world, right? We know it's not a perfect world. So I was with Sutton and I agree with her. I know exactly how she feels, and she's right when she said she's deserving of that love and support, and definitely is. And so she just wants to be respected, and I feel that too. I think it's wild that even as a grown woman, you still have to battle with getting respect from a parent. Like, why? Why? It's like I pay bills. I nurture and raise kids. I got a job. I take care of a husband. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've accomplished many things, and the list goes on, yet here we are. And I know there's a theory that most parents will forever see their kids still as children, but it's like no matter that case though, it's like regardless of how old I get, still put some respect on this child's name. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy. Like I said, all that could be another story for a different day, but that runs deep with a lot of people, and it's more prevalent than I thought. Like I said, I'm just discovering. So Sutton says her mother is a narcissist. Ding 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 ding. And her husband was too. I was like, oh, yikes, double the narcissism is, yeah. One experience with a narcissist is enough to put you in a trance, but two or more, wow. Like, just lock me up somewhere, throw away the key, and let me be away from them. Now, Garcelle, I love your willingness to want to intercede on your friend's behalf and talk to her mom. But a dum dum, as they say, girl. Excuse me, y'all. Girl. First off, Reba is older and already seems to be set in her ways. So whatever you think you're about to change, I don't think that's going to happen. Second, Reba is a narcissist, as Sutton has shared and disclosed. If you won't be stroking Reba's ego, and if you plan on telling her or calling her out, you can forget it. Like anything negative, they don't do well with negativity as it relates to them. So you can forget it. Third, I'ma just say with the way she received Kyle as opposed to you, child, nope, don't do it. Kyle would stand a better chance at the conversation. And I'm even with Kyle when she said it's not a good idea. Okay. Some things are unfortunate and better left alone, in my opinion. And this is definitely one of those instances. Reba is a tough cookie. Reba is a tough, hard, or tough shell to crack. She is not going to sin. She doesn't know you. She doesn't know you. And I think furthermore, it's going to trigger her even more to know that Sutton has disclosed these negative things about her messing with her image. Oh yeah, no, it's just yeah, no. Which I think we got some type of flashback. It's excuse me, some fast forward at some point. It might have been a season recap, or I can't remember, you guys, but of Garcelle standing there actually having the conversation with Sutton's mom, and it's seemingly looking like it wasn't going too well. But anyway, so I'm already cringing for that moment, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just that quick clip. So back over with the Capri vibes, Bose is trying to get insight on Kyle from Kathy since they're sisters because she says Kyle comes across as cold to her, and she thinks it's because she's, gravitated to Dorit first. And in her confessional, she says it's elementary. And I'm like, oh God, here we go with that elementary word again. Bose, please retire it. I don't want to hear it. You and Dorit. So Kathy says she treads lightly with Kyle these days because of what she's going through. It's very traumatic for her. Kathy then asked Dorit, speaking of, how she's doing. Not shortly, yeah, not shortly before calling that man PJ. I said, Kathy, who is P? I would have been like, Kathy, wait. Who is, forget about before, but who is PJ? Like, what? Now, you've known this man, been around him quite a few times. It's two simple letters. A P and they've shortened whatever his first name is. And I'm sure maybe the K comes from his middle name. They have shortened it for you, and you still can't get it right, Kathy. Get it together. But I said that's just Kathying like she always does. So of course Dorit says her life is crappy right now. Kathy's like, well, at least he's a good parent. And immediately, Dorit was like, wrong. I was like, ooh, ouch. And so she gave us a couple of examples, but one that I remember standing out is that, he would be missing for weeks at a time. And from what I gathered, not checking on his kids. Meanwhile, she's protecting him and his, image to her children. I'm sure dressing him up. I can see it now. Oh, well, honey, daddy's on vacation for work, or daddy's away, oh, Jackie, daddy, oh, I'm sure he'll be, like, just, yeah, we can see it. We can definitely see it, no lies told there. And now I'm here for Kathy Shade all day. I will say this. When she asked how old PK was, and Dorit said 56, and Kathy went on to say, when I met him, I thought he was 56. And it's been a while, okay? So we're talking some years ago. So you had already aged him before he aged. And I said, Kathy, I'm not mad at you because I'm there too, Kathy. He looked older, right? Or very aged since he came on the screen. We certainly knew he was older than she was. I mean, that definitely was a given. But he looked like he just was older. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's always looked like, I don't care how much he was dressed or dressed up or dressed down, he always gave and gives old. So like when you going through with your ex, or somebody's about to be your ex, or with somebody you're not feeling, going around Kathy, okay? Kathy will get the shade together. Bose called it. I couldn't agree more with. She said that was some smooth shade. It certainly was. So Dorit shares that PK sent her a 7-page email that definitely appears to be heading for divorce. And it involved financial talk and custody matters. And I'm like, oh well, Dorit, sounds like it's time to get busy to me. It's unfortunate. I'm sure it was unforeseeable, a long time ago when you were so in love. But child, man, when I tell you, Erica, she went to church for me on this one. Like, just this last few minutes, she definitely had some mic drop moments and some wonderful points. If y'all don't get to check it out, I would say at least go back and watch that little last part. She does ask her prior though to getting busy with that advice what Dorit is waiting for, which was a great question. In other words, why are you holding on to this man? Like, obviously he's not into you. And Erica had to flat out tell her that, like, she was like, well, I forget exactly the words, but let's just say, for example, Dorit was like, well, because I just want to see if he still wants to make it work. And Erica's like, he doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just get to the point. Sometimes you can't candy coat things. And as Erica disclaimed also before getting into the juice of it all, she's like, I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't tell you, especially since I've been through it and I've seen this thing play out before. That's why people go through things after all, y'all, as we know, because it's like, if you can help me to prevent some roadblocks, then I'll take whatever assistance I can get, right? And even if you don't want to take it, at least I'm doing my due diligence as your good friend to still put it out there to you. You know, once I give it to you, do with it what you will, but know that this is my way of just trying to help you, you know, to prevent yourself from falling all the way down that hole. And so she says she's being the token idiot wife. That's why she's hanging on. And they're kind of like, no, no, don't say that, you know, whatever. And so now they get into the fact that there's a California law where community property you would get uh, half. So he's trying to divorce her before that, I think, goes into effect, which is at 10 years, if I'm understanding the law correctly. And right now they've been married for 9.5 years, and they're 6 months away from the 10-year period. I said, PK is something else. PK is definitely playing dirty. And it just makes you wonder, like, what is his side of things? How did he get to this level of dislike for her? Because it seems like to me he doesn't even like her at this point, right? We did get a little flashback here and there. We have even heard him say before, oh, well, you know, at some point she became high maintenance. So yeah, we know but that doesn't drive you to really just having this disdain for someone in the way that PK does. Like, what has happened behind the scenes? Has she emasculated you many times? Has she taken, you know, out of your bank accounts without you know, like, what has happened to make you feel the way that you feel, especially to the point where you're not even around in the capacity for your children in the manner that you should be? Like, it's like you just want to avoid her that much because they're so small that you stay away. Like, what in the entire world? It still reminds me just of when, again, some episodes back, she was sharing with us how even in the first therapy session, he went stone off on her. Clearly, that is a buildup. But like I said, y'all, I'm just curious to know a buildup of what. And so, like I tell y'all, Erica gives it to her real and raw as a friend, lets her know PK is no longer in love. He is now her adversary. And I think that was the best way to put it at this point. That is how Dorit needs to treat this moving forward. You got to look out for yourself, Dorit. If you don't look out for you in this situation, who will? Now you can rely on PK to do it if you want to. You're going to be in some serious trouble. Trouble. So again, I agree with everything that Erica said after that. She schooled her 101 point blank into the period. So it's just going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because it's another unfortunate situation like Kyle, right? Dorit did not know that this was going to be her life, you know, and what a drastic change it is. Like I said, at least at this point, or up until this point, we've gotten Mauricio making nice and playing nice, but God, that PK is on some whole other stuff. So, anyways, y'all, the music is on, the dance floor is lit. I need you to get on the dance floor in those comments. Let me know your thoughts, what you feel about it. Do you guys, you know, think PK is bugging at this point? Do you feel like it's deserving? Because you know, you got some people that see things different ways, and folks don't really care what people go through sometimes, you know. Same for Kyle. What do you think about that in her Mauricio situation? And, you know, her feeling like my life is in shambles. Do y'all not care about that? You know, do you agree with Erica's stance on things? Let me know what you're thinking, y'all. What do you think about Miss Reba? That Miss Reba, that's Miss Reba. Oh, Miss Reba. So anyways, y'all, I hope that all is well your way. I hope that this video has found you in good spirits. And if not, that it puts you in good spirits. And I will definitely be back per usual next week to do it all over again. I'm still trying to figure out some other shows that might be starting soon that I can do, just to kind of get a little bit more of the juice flowing and the zhuzh going and all the things. Maybe give you guys some other content that you might be interested in if you don't see it for this one as much. But either way, or y'all, until then, y'all know what I need y'all to do. Okay? Y'all stay up, y'all stay blessed, and I'm out. Peace.